Hello, welcome to episode 1 of Art Notes. This is a residency program for Ingenuity Festival. Located in Cleveland, Ohio, I will be talking to a variety of people about their standing on their artistry, if they feel that they have it. So, this is Jolisa. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jolisa Gonzalez, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. In the process of becoming a financial advisor, not very artsy as they would think. And yeah, just really passionate about breaking generational financial curses. So I'm just trying to get as educated as I can to help more people.
All right. I'm Anthony. I will be the host and the lead perspective on this Art Notes, and we're going to get right into it. The first question. So, when did you first begin to call yourself an artist, if at all?
So no, I have never. What is there like an opposite word of artist? Because that is what I would classify
Okay.
myself as. I definitely have a lot of like bad memories in grade school of like art projects I've spent so much time on and they came out awful. So yeah, I'm not an artist. I don't
But
claim that.
there's something to be said about that exploratory period where your art doesn't necessarily need to be good
Yeah.
for you to be considered an artist. So, does that change your perspective at all?
I don't know. I just feel that there's like very specific like boxes that you need to check off to be an artist. And I don't know if I really do that or not.
What might some of those boxes be?
So I don't know. Okay, so this I don't know why the first thing came to mind is like being a painter. Like I got to
Okay.
know how to paint. But it just I don't know. I'm like when I think of art, it's a lot of like the drawing and the sculpting. Like that's what comes to mind. But I do know that there's so much more that comes to that. I've been introduced to spoken word art
Yep.
and other types of art recently. So now I've been wondering like, can I be an artist some way somehow?
Okay.
But,
What do you think would get you over that hump then?
I don't know, like acceptance, I guess,
Okay.
that like
I understand that.
there's more like fluidity around being an artist.
Okay. One of the things that I'm curious about, because I'm battling with the exact same perspective here, where I'm a photographer, I don't consider myself an artist, and a lot of people are of the opposite belief. They think that, no, you are. You make
Hmm.
things and you're an artist. I think that for an artist, I have a very rudimentary idea of it, but you have to say something through your work,
Hmm.
and you have to be somebody who can, who wants to live up to that title.
Yeah.
So those two expectations are really what needs to happen for that title to be something that you're comfortable with. And a lot of the times, I think it's the expectation. You think that your work has to look a certain way, be interpreted a certain way, and that may or may not be true, but it does vary person to person. So I can see where both sides has a little bit of a friction there.
Yeah, and I guess I mean I have seen some art pieces that I'm like, huh. I mean, if you could do that, I could do that too. So I guess, just understanding that there's more to it.
Yes. There is a million different ways to be an artist, which is, I think, a blessing and a curse. Since there is such a loose interpretation of what an artist can be, you could, live forever and not find the interpretation that fits for you and your outlook, or vice versa. You could say, well, all of these things apply to me because I don't have kind of like any strict perspective that I want to follow, and I'm just here to explore. So that there is room to be, like, there's room for both to exist in the same plane. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So let's ask about something that you've produced in the past. What kind of art have you experienced in the past, and what are you kind of like focusing on now?
In the past, I would say that I'm very into like digital
Hmm,
type art,
we talked about that.
which I'm starting to realize it's an art as well. I've done a lot of like graphics and like website work, and I like to write. I do a newsletter at my job,
Okay.
and I also like do little posty posts on LinkedIn. I like sharing things, written things that maybe could potentially be an art thing. But then I've done like normal like painting and building stuff with clay and stuff, and I'm just not. That's not a nice strong suit.
Okay. Well, have you given yourself a fighting chance? Have you done it once and said this is not for me because I wasn't flawless at it, or have you given it like multiple chances and said, yeah, I just don't like this experience?
Yeah, I feel like I've given it maybe multiple chances. I went to like a draw night a year ago or so, and I was like, I'm stressed. I'm like, I don't, I'm like, that. This is like a stressful experience to me. Like, I left. Like,
Okay.
I just got up and left, and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
You might find some more success at a sip and paint.
Sip and paint. I do like paint and sip. That is fun. I
Okay.
like that because like they guide you, and I did two different ones, and like I definitely got better on my second one.
Okay.
And so that was fun. So like giving me a little bit more structure, hand holding me, kind of like giving me like a way to do it. I think maybe I wasn't taught well, the different things I have tried. Maybe if there was like someone who could better teach me like the specific art, then I would give it a chance again.
Okay.
I'll feel more comfortable.
I respect that. I respect that. Okay. All right. So we'll be back in a moment. We're going to go on to question number two. So we're going to pause right here. Welcome back to Art Notes. We're on question two. Back with Jolisa. We're talking about artistry and our perspective. And question for this section of the video is, what is something that you've unlearned on your journey as a creative person?
I think like just in general, I've been trying to like unlearn or rethink certain things. I think that there's often very like box perspectives in life. Oh, you got to do things like this in order to give yourself this title. Oh, you have to go through this journey in order for it. But everybody's on their own journey. Everybody's life is different, and that also falls into art. Like you don't have to check all the boxes per se. Like if you're creating something, I think like you said, like there's meaning to it. Like if it's something that like sparks you, then do it. Be a creative person, and if you want to call yourself an artist, call yourself an artist. If you don't, you don't. But like giving yourself the flexibility to do and
Okay.
not boxing yourself in and just based off of like the how you say like expectations society has put on you in general.
Okay. Okay. I like that. For me, I think that through this residency, I plan on kind of unlearning perfectionism with what the end product is,
Right.
being messy, being a little chaotic with things,
My favorite.
allowing things to go awry is probably going to be my biggest hurdle to overcome because I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I kind of need to learn to like it.
Yeah, because that's life.
Yes.
Like, no matter how hard you try, I'm not gonna curse because, but no matter how hard you try, like, life is gonna life and like some crazy stuff is going to happen. So,
Yes,
like,
that's true.
being like realizing that and like expecting bad stuff to happen, not like, oh my God, what's the next bad thing, but like being like mentally prepared, etc., for like the bad times, then helps you get through those bad times better. Because it's like a roller coaster ride. Like it's gonna be like this,
Yes.
but you're gonna arrive at your final destination. And those bad times, those messy moments, are like the best time to learn and grow. Honestly.
I think that the most profound experience you can have in your art journey is in that friction. So when things aren't going right, how do you persevere through them because you have a larger picture in mind that gets you through things like artist block, or let's say you have an injury and you can't create in the same way that you used to before. When you're able to push through those moments of doubt, through friction, through adversity, your art comes out a little bit more clear. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. And those are probably when like you said, like some of the most powerful pieces, some of the best things come out in those messy moments.
Yes. So we've talked about this a little bit beforehand, and we've had some very interesting perspectives. Hey, y'all. And I do appreciate that other people feel the same way that I do, but are willing to also put themselves out there and say, well, let's explore why that is. Because I think that calling yourself an artist, being expected to produce work, having other people potentially not like or not get your artwork, and still having to take on that title and everything that comes along with it is a very interesting discussion to be had. When you're talking about spoken word, like you mentioned earlier, you kind of have to like find your way in what your rhythm is, what your cadence is going to be, how you pace yourself. You have a lot of things that you want to. Uh,
It's okay.
yeah, you have a lot of things that you have to kind of work your way through, and at the end of that, you have to find a piece of artwork. Um, I'm filming. I'm
It's like just
filming.
go with that behind there is fine.
Honestly, this is why I actually wanted to film out here. I love these little interactions
Right.
because there's so many cool people here, and I have to learn from them. So
It's so funny. She just walked through, didn't
it
know what's
happens.
going on.
What were we talking about? What we were unlearning. So yes, on my perspective, it was unlearning perfectionism and unlearning kind of like receiving their expectations before they even see what my finished product is.
Right.
Because I think that like a lot of us have a tendency to like fill in the blanks for other people,
Mhm.
and other people may not be as judgy as we think they are going to be in our imagination, and that also needs to be taken into consideration. Like people aren't as mean, people aren't as judgy, aren't as dismissive. They're like, oh, okay, well, I see where you're going. I may not get it, but pleasantries are available to you. So you might have a nicer tone of voice when you're judging or thinking about other people judging you because they might not all want to spit on your artwork and stomp it in the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly,
All right, welcome back to the final question for Art Notes. I want to say thank you to Jaleesa for taking the time to talk about this with me. I'll be having 8 other guests, and she was a great kickoff to this series. She's beautiful, easy to look at, easy to talk to, and hopefully, with the final question, has your viewpoint on your artistry changed?
has it changed? Um, I want to say that like I definitely want to explore where I could call myself an artist
Mm-hmm.
more. At this point, I wouldn't say I'm an artist because of this, but like I definitely want to find something that would allow me to be called an artist,
Okay.
which I mean,
Any ideas? What?
um, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's like considered like our podcast considered an art. Would that be considered an art? Like what?
It could be. It could be considered performance art depending on what your subject matter is, how you play it out. Yeah, you could.
I don't know. I'd have to do some like exploration, but it definitely would be like digital or like writing or
Okay.
I would love to get into spoken word, but like I'm not I don't
You're not there yet.
I don't know where to even start.
Okay.
But I would like the idea of being able to put something together. I'm very into
Okay.
like that.
Well, I think that podcasting and writing is going to be like the easiest way. If you're somebody who's very confident and competent in your own writing, that's going to be probably the easiest way for you to get into that headspace that artists have. I will say that I'm very jealous. Writing has never been my strong suit, and if you can get into it and you can do it and you can like feel feel yourself through that and like take on that title with confidence, I think it's a great place to be. Okay. So I want to say thank you for being the first guest on Art Notes, episode 1.